when Nate Moore, our executive producer, first reached out, I was finishing up my last film called Creed, and you know, that film was something that was very, very personal to me. I've been fortunate enough to work on films that I had, you know, personal stakes in, you know, as an artist, and things that I was, dealt with themes and issues and ideas that I was thinking about away from the art, like in my own personal life, and I was really kind of circling these ideas of African identity and you know, representation and personal responsibility. All those things were things that I was thinking about, and I was, you know, kind of thinking about a project that would, you know, doing a project next that would speak to those themes. I'll be able to explore those ideas. So when I spoke with Nate about the project, I thought it would be a interesting opportunity. You know, I was really interested to meet with Kevin and Lou and Victoria, see what they had in mind for the project, see how it was going to fit into to the MCU, and when I spoke with them, I got really excited about the opportunity. It felt like, you know, something kind of lit on fire inside myself, so I knew it was the right project for me to do at the time. What I tried to do with my co-writer Joe Robert Cole, what we tried to do is really like hang on to the themes and hang on to the ideas that made T'Challa in the comics. You know, and there's a few things with any superhero you kind of gotta. You know, we would talk to the studio about it too. Like, man, what does he need to have? You know, to be the Black Panther? What makes the Black Panther the Black Panther? And obviously, you got the political responsibility. You know, you got the suit. You know, you got the claws. You know, you got the strength. We got the fact that he's African. Like that's the thing that makes him unique. So when you start talking about performance and things that are, you know, important to him, the things that you want to highlight, the things that you want to make sure are coming across clear to the audience. You know, that was kind of like our grounding things. I mean, what makes Chadwick so great for the role of T'Challa in the Black Panther, I think, is that a lot of the things about the character are also true about Chad. You know, he's very knowledgeable. I think that you know, he's an athlete. You know, a martial artist, and I think he's at a point in his career right now where he's had a lot of experience playing roles that come with a lot of weight. You know, so I think he has a guy has a lot of weight to him. You know, now, and I think all of that stuff translates there. He comes from a big family. You know, where he has a lot of responsibility there, which is, you know, so all of those, I think he brings all of that stuff to the role. But not to mention that he's incredibly gifted as an actor and as a performer. We find T'Challa right after Civil War. In that film, his father was murdered in a terrorist attack. He wasn't the intended target, but he was kind of collateral damage. But his father was a sitting ruler, and you find him at a time when he's going through the process of inheriting the throne, and all that comes with that. So he's at a crossroads, you know, kind of in his life in terms of responsibility, but you know, he's stepping into a role that he always knew he would have to step into at one point, but he's not quite sure he's ready. And it's at a time when Wakanda is you know, kind of struggling with having an identity crisis, so to speak. You know, and it happens like, you know, it's a generational transition. You know, I think that, and it's interesting because I think that the world is kind of going through that right now. You know, all over. You know, like younger people are starting to inherit, you know, positions of power, and they find themselves kind of saying, hey, you know, which way are we going to go? You know, are we going to go in a different direction? Are we going to go in a direction that we've always been going? And I think that, you know, T'Challa's position is kind of that. In the comic books, you have these female characters that are incredibly important to T'Challa, are incredibly important to the country of Wakanda. You know, and that includes, you know, Ramonda, his mother in the books. You know, Shuri, his younger sister, and who is the heir to the throne, and T'Challa is occupying the throne. You have the Dora Milaje, who are the you know, this all-female guard and warrior unit. You know, they're kind of like the Secret Service if you cross them with the Navy SEALs. You know, and then you have the character Nakia in the film, who's a spy, a Wakandan spy, but also T'Challa's T'Challa's love interest in the story as well. And you have Okoye, who kind of heads up the Dora Milaje and also heads up the Wakandan military. So we have all those characters in the film, and they all represent a different piece of the country, but they also have a different relationship with T'Challa, and this film is kind of a love story, between this country and these characters. Every character, feels a certain way towards Wakanda, and they have a particular responsibility to it, as well as towards our main character. So, we thought that was really interesting thing to play with, and also see the relationship that these women have with each other. Mike is Killmonger. I mean, I think that that was another role. Role was written with Mike in mind. I collaborated with Mike. I guess it's our third time working together, third film together. Now he's also like Lupita. He's incredible actor. Very versatile. And I think Mike's the biggest thing with Mike is I think that audiences find you watch him and you can't help but to feel for him. You know what I mean? You can't help but to feel empathy for him, no matter what character he's playing, no matter what he's going through. And for us, it was exciting for him to play a villain, because he's never really done that before. You're talking about a guy who's been acting pretty much his whole life, since he was very young. That's how he's been earning a living, So how exciting is it to get to do something new with somebody that they haven't done before? Angela's incredible, incredibly strong actress, man, and has a great. I think she has a great presence. She brings a certain gravitas, a certain history to the position. You know what I mean? Like when Angela showed up on set, things felt important. You know what I mean? Just by showing up. And she has that about her. But it was such amazing. I had such an amazing time working with her, and I thought she brought a sense of she brought a weight to Wakanda. You know what I mean? And her relationship with both T'Challa and Letitia, who played Shuri, was just great. And it was just great in the film, man. They felt like a real family. I'm really excited for audience to see it because I started off this film with this idea, and this question, what does it mean to be African? You know what I mean? Like, that was the question. That was the thought that I had, cause I wasn't quite sure. Even at 30 years old at the time when I got the project, I wasn't sure what the answer to that question was. Even though I'm African myself. You know what I mean? And I think through the process of the film, trying to find out an answer, what I found is, to be African is to be human. You know what I mean? That's really one of the things that I found and that idea through like looking at the specific cultural things and finding the universality through those specifics. I think that anybody will see themselves, no matter where they are in the world. I think if we did our job right, as filmmakers with this movie, anybody will watch Black Panther, see the Wakandans, and see these people, but still see themselves, like see their own selves, see their country, see their family in the film, and I hope that it connects with folks that way.